So I'm a parent, I'm not an educator, I don't work in a school district, and I have a challenge for all of you, and I want you all to do this. I want you to pick one person, and talk to them about what's going on in public education. Just one when the opportunity presents itself, because that's what happened with me. One person spoke to me, and now I use my voice and I tell. One person, that's it. That's all you have to do, and it keeps going. So I'm here today to talk about parental voice and special education. These are a very tender population that always seems to be forgotten about, and we need to speak up for these children. Here's a little example of what Common Core New York State testing has done for my child. In 3rd grade, it was the first, my child is in 5th grade now. He was diagnosed with autism at 22 months. He's now 11. In 3rd grade, the New York State tests were placed in front of him, and he was not reading at the 3rd grade level. I allowed those tests because I did not really understand what was going on at the time. He took the tests. He had time and a half. He did not complete the tests. The solution to that problem next year was double time. Double time. Let's put him in front of the test longer, even though he's not reading at that grade level. Does that make sense? Let's all grab a book, read every other sentence, and then answer questions about it. How would you feel? How would you feel if you didn't understand what you were reading, and then you had to answer questions about it, and nobody could help you? You sit there helpless. Helpless. Crying. You think that happens? It does. So the solution was double time and allowed gum chewing. Absolutely not. That is not going to measure anything for any special ed child. Special ed children get an IEP all year long. That stands for Individualized Education Plan. And yet, they have a standardized test they have to take. An individualized education plan comes with something with measurable goals. And those goals are measured every quarter. Why are we not using this information to count towards some portion of the APPR testing? What is going to happen if 50% of the testing counts towards APPR? What's going to happen to the special ed population? What's going to happen to the special ed teacher? What's going to happen to the special ed students? Why is nobody asking these questions? Because these are children who are not going to do well on the test. We already know this. We already know this. That's why they have an IEP. What is going to happen to the special ed teachers when this goes in place? This cannot happen. We cannot have 50% of standardized tests count towards APPR. It will destroy special education. It will. So the other thing that I'm not trying to move things backwards and imply that special ed children aren't allowed the same opportunities as general education students. It's not what I'm saying here. The access is now a mandate. There's a big difference there. Where's my choice as a parent? Guess what, parents? You have a voice. You have a voice, and you have more power than you ever will when it comes to your child. You are absolutely allowed to refuse on behalf of your minor. You have to sign a permission slip to go on a field trip. Okay, so you need my permission for that, but I'm not allowed to refuse without consequences. An individualized education plan is a legal document. It allows you a lot more power when it comes to asking for things for your child. When a child takes a New York State exam and they have an IEP, they take it in a different room. There's accommodations for them, double time. I mean, in my school, I'm not sure if that's the case in all schools. So if you refuse for your special ed child and they push to you that the only option is for your child to sit and read, you need to ask yourself, is that an appropriate option? Because they are removed from the room during testing, Why aren't we giving them appropriate option if they're not taking the test? These are questions you're allowed to ask. You need to use your voice. That's the challenge. That's why I want you to go and talk to one parent. Even if you don't agree with me, debate it. Talk to people about it. Because your perspective and my perspective may be very different, but we learn from each other and our arguments get stronger from that. I just wish that parents would understand that now is the time. Now is the time, if you've never been involved before, to contact the people that you elect and let them know that this 50% of APPR will not help anyone. These students are with teachers all day long, and 50% of that weight is now being placed, well, could possibly be placed on a test that Tim said is what? Totals 9 hours for gen ed and 18 for special ed? 50%. I'm sorry, but I have somebody who's with my child all day long, knows them, knows the family, and we are allowing Pearson to come in and write a test and bank on that. Does that make sense to anybody? I don't understand why anybody in their right mind could think that that's a good solution and solve our crisis we have in New York State. I'm not very clear on that. I don't have like an amazing closing statement, so I just want to say that if anything, if you do anything before these tests, you talk to one person and help them understand that this is not the solution. Thank you.